characteristics of life, and homeostasis. All living things move, respond or react to changes, grow, reproduce by making new organisms or new cells, and respire, use oxygen, and remove carbon dioxide. Additionally, all living things digest or break down foods, absorb substances by moving them across membranes into fluids, provide circulation within body fluids such as lymph and blood, assimilate or change nutrients into chemically different forms, and excrete or remove waste. Therefore, metabolism is the total of all the chemical reactions that are continuously at work in the cells and tissues of the body at any given time. Various physiological mechanisms act to prevent harmful changes in the composition of body fluids and the environment inside our cells. Homeostasis refers to the maintenance of a relatively stable internal environment. Homeostasis responds to internal or external change, is vital to an organism's survival, and failure to maintain homeostasis can lead to illness or even death. Homeostatic regulation refers to the adjustment of physiological systems to preserve homeostasis and always keeps the characteristics of the internal environment within certain limits. Homeostatic mechanisms consist of three parts: the receptor, which senses or detects changes away from the set point, the control center, which receives and processes that information and sends out commands to the effector, which is a cell or organ that responds to those commands. Most homeostatic regulatory mechanisms involve negative feedback, a way for counteracting an effect. It provides long-term control over the body's internal conditions and systems. It also tends to minimize change. Examples include thermoregulation, blood glucose, blood calcium, and blood pressure level. One example of a negative feedback loop is thermoregulation. Think about what your body does when your internal body temperature gets too high. How does it try to bring your body temperature back down? What happens if your internal body temperature drops too low? What are some things that your body does to combat this? In positive feedback, an initial stimulus produces a response that exaggerates or enhances the original change in conditions rather than opposing it. You seldom encounter positive feedback in your daily life simply because it tends to produce extreme responses. Examples include blood clotting, childbirth, and lactation. An example of a positive feedback loop is childbirth and contractions. As the baby pushes against the cervix, the signal is sent to the hypothalamus, which then releases oxytocin, which is a hormone that causes the uterine walls to contract.
Created using Powtoon.